What is going on, everyone? It's Alonna with 570 Press, and we have another podcast for you tonight. And tonight we're talking with Carrie from Sunsinger, who I have been digging so much lately. If you don't know, you got to check out Sunsinger. They're really great. So how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great tonight. I'm super excited to be here talking to you about this. It's been a very lonely pandemic, so it's so nice to finally get some conversation about music again.
Yeah, I know. And but I mean, I've been grateful because I've been able to talk about music throughout the whole pandemic. But my problem is I am a very in-person type of person because I like to pick up on other people's vibes and kind of guide the conversation that way. So it's been really tough trying to do it virtually, but somehow we manage.
Yeah, I'm definitely the same way, so I feel you.
Yeah. So why don't we start off with a little introduction to yourself and Sunsinger as a band and just whatever else you'd like to tell us.
Cool. I guess so we're a five-piece progressive metal band for anyone who hasn't heard of us. And we're out of Massachusetts. And we've been around for about, I'd say, 3 years now. With the pandemic, maybe a smidge longer. Um, and yeah, we're all about kind of trying to not be, I guess, in a box of one genre. So we do really float between, I would say, like a little bit of a heavier metal and the more progressive rock genre. Um, and yeah, lately the big thing we signed with DIY Records. So we've been working on getting the second half of our album out that we released the first LP in the first part last year, possibly 2 years ago at this point. Uh, Time is an illusion to me. So I guess that's a little bit about us and like how we started, where we're from. A little bit about me. I've been doing music since I was a baby. I started singing at 3 or 4 and then just kept on going till about 11 when my mom finally stuck me in piano lessons. And I used to do piano and the vocals at the same time. But then I never really got into doing bands until I became an adult. And I think that it was good for me because Sunsinger was actually my first project that was official. So I was really fortunate to jump into a group with such talented people who had already been in the community for a while and had some more knowledge that I didn't have, even though they're, I'd say they've been in the music as long as me, but just definitely not the same as being independent versus being in a band. So that's also kind of how we, a great differ between them and me and our little divide there, and where we make a great match because I feel like we have a lot of different writing and creative styles, and we all come from different musical backgrounds. So we've really come to a great blend, and I think that's why we never really fit in a perfect genre either. So that's a little bit about us.
Wow, and you know what? That's super cool. And I always think it's so cool when you have, bands that are way different, like in terms of influences and, music styles, but you all get together and somehow you make it work. I always thought that was super cool. So how did you guys come up with the name Sunsinger? Because I have to be honest with you, I am obsessed with the name. So I'd like to know how you guys came up with it. Like, does it have a significant meaning, or was it just kind of like a spur of the moment type thing?
So originally when the project started, it was mostly just James. He had a few songs and, he was the one that started reaching out to people. And so he picked the name. And it's actually from Dark Souls and the Bloodborne games. So I've never played Dark Souls and Bloodborne personally. I've watched them play Dark Souls and Bloodborne about 100 times now at this point. But it's a video game reference, and it's also, we thought it was a cool name just to reference, like, in general, the sun and the sun people, and they've taught me the history of, the Bloodborne and the Dark Souls lore, but I would mess it up if I try to get too in depth on the details behind it. But it is also kind of just like a bit of a joke on the fact that we're big gamers, and a lot of our songs are actually also named after video game references. So that's a little tidbit about that as well, which I think is fun.
Definitely. And you know what? You are actually the second band to be named after a video game reference. And shout out to Traverse the Abyss. They just released their new music video for Faucet Mouth. So check that out. But they are actually named after a video game reference too. And for the life of me, I can't remember what video game it is. And I know that they told me like more than once. And for the life of me, I can't remember. But I always think that's so cool because, you know, I've never played Dark Souls either, but I always think it's so cool because I grew up playing video games like Life is Strange and Halo and all that stuff. And I never thought to like, you know, name a band after that. I always just was like, I would hear like the stupidest thing on TV, like, you know, like pickled bananas or whatever. And I'd be like, that's an awesome band name.
That's the band name.
Yeah.
Hot dogs. That's the band name. That would be me.
Yeah. Exactly. And me and my best friend, we always joked that we were going to have a band and call it the Dead Cheetos, and no one knows why. Obviously, thankfully, we never named our band that. We named it something else. But, you know, so I always think it's super, super cool how people can take video games and use that as band names or song names as well. I thought that was super cool. So can you tell us a little bit about your latest release, Ace of Cups Part 1. And I love the tarot reference, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, I'm actually very happy that everyone actually gets the reference. I was like slightly concerned because, especially with the art not being like super direct, even though it is direct for anyone who knows the sets. You're the second person that has straight up been like, it's tarot card, right? And I'm like, yes, it is. Because I love the concept of that card and its meaning and the behind it, especially both the upside down and the regular versions of it, you know, because it has a positive and a negative side that still is meaningful to the album. And I really think that with these, it is a collection of 10 songs that we have split into 2, as part 1 would give away. But yeah, all of them are related, I would say, to just the overall meaning of that card. So that was a big inspiration for me. And I originally it was just a drawing that I did of the cup with the Sunsinger S in it. And then I was kind of like, I don't know, I like this. I think I'm going to stick with this. And that was back when we only maybe had two songs, you know?
Right.
And I just held on to that idea for so long, and we finally just made it a reality.
Yeah, and you know what? That's super awesome when you have that idea and you can finally, you know, see it come into fruition. I love that. So in terms of now, since it's been a little bit since that was released, does your current songwriting process differ from what it was for Ace of Cups Part 1, or is it kind of about the same?
I would say yes, only because when we first started, it was mostly a lot of the music was written by James. And then over the time of us playing it live, he would do mostly all the music, and then I would write all of the vocal parts and the melodies and the harmonies and screams. And then we started playing live, and the boys would kind of say, oh, I really want to add this part here. Or EJ would want to add, I love EJ. He'd always be like, can we make this 5 times faster? Every part. And we're like, you're a maniac, but sure. Because, you know, James would write, you know, he's not a drummer, so he would write the best he could. They would be nice drums, but EJ would be like, all right, I want to put 10 notes here instead of 2. And he writes some crazy beats. So we've added a lot from that. But now, after we had Dustin join, the 2 of them, James and Dustin, really have taken their styles and just squished them together. And so there's a few songs on the new album that I would say on the second half that just we haven't released that are a lot heavier and a lot more influenced by Dustin's writing. And we purposefully, when we realized just we needed to split it up, that we didn't want to put like songs that didn't particularly fit together. So we left a few of the heavier songs for the second half. So I'm really excited to drop some more music that has more Dustin's writing in it, because we really we had a bassist for about a year, and then he moved to New Jersey. So then we were looking for a new person, and we just love Dustin's style and like his heavy style, that we wanted to pull that in. And so now we really write more as a group. The two of them will get together or they'll write something, kind of halfway and drop it in the drive and share. And then everybody will slowly kind of pitch in. And then finally, once they have something really, really good, I take it and I run with it. And that's now our process. So with the second EP, yeah, I would say a few probably really heavy surprises that definitely come from Dustin's influence of when he joined the band.
Wow. And, like you were saying, he's not a drummer, but he's a maniac. And me personally, I am a bassist, so I get it, because when I was in my old band, I'd be like, hey, I know this is a cover song, but what if we did this bass riff but made it like 30 times faster? And everybody would look at me like that was insane. So
that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Everybody in my band does that. We can't stop ourselves from having like, okay, let's make this crazy fast, and then this, and then this, and then we find ourselves going, oh, hey, wait, go back. Too many things. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So what do you think was the turning point that made you decide that you wanted to become a musician?
Man, I don't know. I've always wanted to be a musician. I guess I didn't think that I would end up in metal. I was raised by like very religious parents, so I didn't get exposed to any music that I would consider heavy until I was maybe 15. And I had the freedom to be listening to the radio and, having an option of like music that wasn't kind of just whatever they put on. So originally, I think it's funny, I always just wanted to write more like alternative stuff on the piano and just write my own stuff. I used to do open mics, and I've always wanted to just, I guess, get my own messages out there and my own voice out there, whatever it was, through music. I've loved music. So I think finally when I became an adult, I just thought, why not be in a band? Why not do it as a collective and like just becoming who I am as a person, and just be like finding metal and loving it so much, and just especially the expression you can get while you're up there on stage and the feeling that you get, just pulled me in. It pulled me into wanting to do it, myself, just seeing people do it, and actually experiencing like live metal shows. I guess for like starting a band, I feel like going to metal shows like live was probably what did it for me. That first like local show, I would say too, that was like, you see a local band that's like better than the bands you saw at Warped Tour, and you're like, who are these who are these people and why aren't they famous? Like, I want to be friends with them, not the people like they're cool, or like that's good music. And I think like, I like music, like I like, there must be other people out there that want to make the same music as me. So for me, I think that like live music was a big turning point. And I'd say small community music here, out in the Massachusetts, New England kind of area.
Right. I'm sorry, you froze for a second. So
that's okay.
I heard everything you said, but I couldn't see you. So I paused for a minute. But I completely agree, because that's kind of how I got into even doing journalism. A friend of mine messaged me, and I was 20 years old, fresh out of college, because I only went to college for 2 years. And he's like, do you want to interview this band tonight? And I was like, dude, what the heck do I know about interviewing bands? What do you mean?
Right?
So he sent me some links to the band's music. I saw them live, and I was like, that's it. Why are these guys not famous? I have to interview them. So, I really think that a lot of people don't appreciate local music as much as they should. And I think the sole reason being is because they only listen to what's on the radio and what catches their attention, but they're not really, when they're out at the bar, they're not really paying attention to the band that's on stage to realize that, hey, these guys are really great. And, I'm not sure if a lot of the bands realize they have the potential to inspire people such as you and I to want to, pursue music or pursue journalism or this or that or the next thing. So I think that that's a really incredible thing. And you've mentioned about the Massachusetts music scene, which I have heard rave reviews about. My cousin lives up in Massachusetts. I have not been there, but I've heard rave reviews about their music scene. So hopefully once the pandemic calms down and it's safe to travel, I'll be able to get up there and see for myself. Because
yeah, please do.
Yeah, Yeah, I would love to, because, and my cousin is originally from Virginia, and then he lived here for a while, but then he moved to Massachusetts. So I'm like, all right, I'll show you the Pennsylvania local music scene if you show me the Massachusetts one. So how has the pandemic affected you as a band? Do you think that it's made you guys stronger and more inspired, or have you guys kind of stayed the same as you always were?
Well, I think it's been a bit of a struggle. We went through we practice at our drummer's house. And so there was a period for a long, long time when everyone was quarantining that we weren't having practice at all because just it's his family and they have people there that are very old and we didn't want to be risking anybody. So, we took a big spill there where we weren't even able to kind of get into and we couldn't go into the studio either. All our studio dates got pushed. So now we just, I wouldn't say it was a loss because we ended up streaming, which has been really great for us, just I think on a connection level with people that we were seeing at shows, but it's just a different kind of connection. Now we're all playing video games together. And so it's like, and we're not trying to be, it's not like I see a friend that I have talked to a bunch and then there's all of a sudden there's a new person that's trying to talk to me about like the song and I have to switch my mind to like concentrate on it. It's like we're just streaming and we're casually chatting. And so I've really gotten to know some of these people like on a deeper level. And it's been really nice to have like the support still there from just the local, like we said, the local scene in this area, just jumping on the stream with us. And they've been pretty generous with helping out with some donations on just because we haven't been able to play shows. We used to play a lot of shows. And that's how we funded all of our music is just our live shows. And then basically merch too at the shows. So without the shows, we pretty much lost all income. So having Twitch has just been great because our lovely friends got us affiliate. So we're able to receive donations. So we've done a few like fun challenges. The boys ate hot chips. That was fun. There's these crazy spicy chips. So that we did the spicy chip challenge. I did not because I have gastrointestinal issues and I think I would have died. But and then we wrote a lot of music. So I think coupled with the fact that we've gotten so many Twitch donations, like we're definitely going to be able to drop, hopefully, I would say a whole album this time after the second half of Ace of Cups because we already have it written and I would say half of it has lyrics, 5 songs, lyrics already done. So I've only got 5 more to go before we could give you guys a whole nother album. So I think that that's been a blessing that we've had the time to write and just float the song around each other's ears for like a good long period of time and like really listen to it and really think about what we want to do with it. So that's kind of where we've been. Just with the pandemic. And then right now our drummer is training to be a firefighter. So we're very proud of him. And so he took a little month off to do the initial firefighter training. And then we'll be able to get into the studio because we need him because he is the drummer. So he must go first. So we're going to be jumping into the studio hopefully next month. So that's really exciting, finally, with all of the pandemic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been crazy, but and like you said, shout out to your drummer. I mean, that's an amazing feat, and I have the utmost respect for firefighters because they go out and they risk their lives to save other people. So shout out to him. But
I know EJ is the man, and we're proud of him. He asked us, he goes, I had to take a quick little break, and we went, that's fine, absolutely. To be a firefighter, you take your month break, sir.
Yeah. So if you could play any venue in the world, where would it be and why?
Oh boy. Oh man. I mean, I wish I was more familiar with venues in locations. I mean, I guess if I could play anywhere in the world, it would be somewhere in Japan. Possibly in Tokyo, like area. That would be like amazing. Whatever venue is popular out in Tokyo would be probably my number one selection. we're really inspired by Japanese music and Japanese rock, so rock and metal. I think that their rock and metal actually has a lot more of a sound similar to ours. If you guys have ever listened to anything that comes out of Japan, so that would definitely have to be my number one pick. It's just any tour, anything out there.
Awesome. And I'm sorry I missed that. What I was afraid of happening happened. My internet kicked me right off. I knew it was a matter of time, so I hear the wind outside. I knew it was a matter of time, but all is well. And thank you for continuing to answer that even after I disappeared.
It's okay. I figured they could still see me, so.
Yeah, exactly. And they heard the question before, doomsday. So if you could book your dream tour with Sunsinger included, who would you have as the headliner, the main support, and then the opening act?
Man. I mean, I've still I've always wanted to play with Ginger. So like I would probably have them headline because that would be great. And we would probably play right before them. And then man, I'm so bad at thinking of band names because my thing is I listen to so many bands and so like too many bands and I have the worst trash memory. So you could show me an album art or you could play me a song and I could sing every lyric, but I would not know the name, the band name, the album name at all. If I could pick a local band to bring with me, I'd probably pick Carpathia and have them come along because they're a great band that's very similar to us, and it would be cool to have them. I already forgot the Tears, but not the opener, the other one above the opener. And then, man, I'd probably pick some local band from the area of wherever the hell we were playing that I didn't know, but I thought somebody said was really dope, and then I listened to them and they were really dope for the opener.
Yeah, see, and that would be super awesome because, a lot of times, you see bands going on tour and it's already set that they have like this huge stacked bill, but like what about the local scene? Like, I'm sorry, but sometimes like the locals are way better than your stacked like star-studded tour that you have planned. Like, give them a shot. Like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, or the locals maybe just they know the people, like they wouldn't even get the ad or see that you're playing without the local band, I think that all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, do you think that the music industry will ever recover from the devastating effects of the pandemic?
I do. I think that even though it's took so long, like here's a great example. I have a friend, he used to run an art studio / like venue space, and it closed. And he straight up went into a new business. He opened security business. This man is a powerhouse. He opened a security business, and I swear, the second that the world is safe enough for people to do shows, he's gonna just go and try to buy another building and open a venue. And I feel like that there's so many passionate people like him out there that are gonna find a way back to being able to have the spaces for us to then go in and support them. Or there's going to be people who like us who are going to donate to like venues that maybe have closed, like the people that own them, to be able to give them, the money to get a new one. Because I think that that's the only place that we might really be losing out is, if these venues start closing, where are we going to go? So then we'll have to do something as a community to help there. But I think that we will. So I really don't think that we're gone for good with the pandemic. No, I definitely don't. I think we can rise again.
I agree. I think it'll be like a phoenix, when I don't know if you've ever seen Harry Potter, but they say that like when a phoenix dies, they're reborn from the ashes. And I think it'll be exactly like that. Like, soon as everything's safe. And, I think it'll take some time because I think you're still going to have people kind of be a little bit nervous, and that's totally understandable as to why. But I think that eventually we'll get back on the right track. And like you said, a lot of these states have their local scene behind them, supporting them. And, even they have, like celebrities behind them and donating and everything else. I think that, as long as we have the support, I think we can do it. And we actually have a comment. I'll be there watching Sunsinger from Matt Benoit. I am so sorry. I'm bad.
Oh, hi, Matt. Yes, I know Matt.
That's awesome.
I'm surprised people have found the live already. Facebook is really bad at that.
Well, in fairness, I am streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So hopefully I'm coming up in somebody's recommended somewhere in the world. So, so do you think that your unique sound sets you apart from other bands of that genre? And who were some bands that you listened to that kind of influenced you as a vocalist to kind of, I don't want to say replicate, but want to have a separate sound from everybody else?
Yeah. I guess definitely for the instrumental parts, we are very inspired by Periphery. For me, I'm very inspired by Ginger. I really like them. I'm also, I'm a big fan also of music kind of similar to La Dispute when it comes to lyrical or anything of more of occurrence, which is more of a sort of depressive type of poetic lyrics. But I like to put them into the metal area because I'm obsessed with. I would guess one of the first I guess they're post-hardcore bands I heard was Miss May I. So they're actually surprisingly a big influence of mine for screaming. I don't know people that have heard his screaming style, but he was one of the first bands I heard that I tried to scream to and with. So I think for metal, I really just for me personally, I like them for a big influence there. But I think it's also just not wanting to fit into a bubble is kind of just our way of being us. We're such a quirky, like we mentioned earlier, group of weirdly, we all have different styles that we've weirdly mashed together to make it work somehow. Mm-hmm. And I think that just kind of happened naturally, and we wanted to go with it. We didn't want to say we have to fit into the metal bracket, or we have to be progressive, or we have to be rock. We wanted to do whatever we wanted to have a variety or a range. And sometimes it gives us slight trouble booking shows. So now I'm happy we have a lot of songs to have a heavy set, a light set, a middle kind of set. Because if we book a really heavy show, sometimes some of our lighter songs sound a little silly in the venue. People love them still, but we definitely stick out, and I don't mind. So
awesome. And definitely you can hear that you have the separate sounds, just going through your discography. I love the mix because I am personally a huge metalcore fan. I still listen to A Skylit Drive, and they've been broken up for 7 years.
You made my heart hurt when you said their name because they've broken up for so long. They were so good.
I know. So as you can see, I don't normally break away from the music that I loved all those years ago. So, but sometimes I'm in the mood for something a little bit lighter, so I'll turn on Knuckle Puck or Real Friends or The Wonder Years or whatever. And I feel like you guys offer that perfect blend that you don't have to keep switching from artist to artist to get that. And I really did that a lot because not a lot of bands have that. I mean, unless you Bring Me the Horizon and then you have Count Your Blessings and then you have whatever the hell their last album was. So I mean, it's not an even mix because it's not like they progressed down to that. They just went right to it. You guys progress to that and then go back. So it's a really awesome switch.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what we're trying to go for. So it's nice to hear it's coming across.
Yeah. So do you have any hobbies outside of music?
Yes. So actually some of the Sunsinger artwork is my artwork. I do artwork. So for example, I actually drew our font. It's not a real font. I hand drew it. So it's so the S is also special shaped. And then I did a few of our merchandise designs, but I also have done a bunch of different types of paintings, and I went to school for art in college. And then I dropped out of one and went to another, which was kind of cool because I got two different experiences. One was in Boston and one was kind of more of like a local area with just really good teachers. So I feel like I took a lot of great things from both, but I still really love doing art. I've taken a little hiatus to just kind of draw what I want to draw and make a new portfolio. And then I'll probably start just offering again to bands if they like the kind of stuff I draw to do t-shirts. Cause I really like drawing t-shirts and logos for bands as like a hobby. I just think it's fun. It's part of the community. I love the art. I hate when I see a band and I really like them and I go up to their art and I hate it because it's like graphic design maybe and it's simple and or they only have their logo. They haven't purchased, like, even if you're not good at art, buy a cheap one, like something off Fiverr, just to have something for me to buy, please. Because sometimes I give bands $10 because I just don't want to buy a shirt, but I really liked them and I want to give them my money to support them. So yeah, I'm a big art nerd. That's a big hobby of mine. And then I also do some modeling for fun too. So I like to cosplay and make my own costumes. So that's fun. The band usually goes to Anime Boston each year as a group. So if you guys go to Anime Boston, you'll probably see us there. But you'll have to catch us because we will be dressed in cosplay. So good luck.
Wow, you know what? That's super awesome. That's actually the first time that I've ever interviewed somebody that actually does cosplay.
Oh, I love cosplay. My favorite one I've ever done was Penny. I have like a Pennywise cosplay, but it's like a lady female version of Pennywise.
Wow.
I have two different outfits for that, and I really like that cosplay. It's like really cool.
Wow. And yeah, like I said, that's super awesome because, and a lot of times people like shit on cosplay, but I think it's so cool. And I love when people are super passionate about it. Me personally, I don't think I could pull off cosplay. And that's only because I'm kind of lazy and I don't like all the work involved with, putting on all the makeup for a cosplay.
Yeah.
But I'm like the silent supporter. Like I'll see like these cosplay fests. I'm like, I love you. You guys are doing great.
And I'm so good.
Yeah.
I wish I could build the armor. I don't have the patience to build like the full armor people build. Beautiful. Yeah. I just don't have the time.
Yeah. So what can we expect from you guys in the future once life returns to normal?
So we are jumping in the studio to get part 2 going. We had just booked our dates like right when everything closed. So we were just basically placed on a little wait list for when everything opens, which was basically now. So next month we'll be jumping in the studio, and then we already have the art because I was on top of that. And so the second we have those tracks in our hands, we'll be in the process of planning if we want to release them and then do a show later, or if just depending on where the world is, or we'll plan our release and then hopefully we'll see everybody at a safe giant ass show, because that would be a fantastic way to start off the next year. But yeah, that's what we're hoping to do. And then, like I said, we've got a lot of music under the table now, a whole album. And so that'll be ready for live shows. So I'm hoping that our live community friends will be really excited for the fact that we'll have so many new songs for them. Because we often play songs before they're, recorded live just because we want to when they're done. Mm-hmm. So it's like I kind of like to call it like a little Easter egg. If you come to the shows, you kind of get like unreleased stuff. So that's where we are now, and for our plans for after the pandemic, and we'll have a firefighter. So if there's a fire or a fire alarm that's faulty, maybe he can turn it off. I don't know. Yeah. Probably not. But EJ, do it anyway.
Yeah. Just I mean, even if you don't do anything, just go check.
Go check. You're legally allowed to check, right? Like you're certified for this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully I get to see you guys at a show in the future. That would be awesome. I would even make, the trip to Massachusetts because, as I said, I've been wanting to check out the scene up there anyway. But I think that would be super cool to be able to see you guys. And then maybe we could do an interview in person too, because as I said, I'm a huge vibes person, and I like to do interviews in person because you can kind of, it kind of guides the conversation easier, and then you don't have any technical difficulties like my internet kicking me off. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd love to have all the boys here with us. So that would be awesome if you could do it at a show, because then they definitely would be with me.
yeah. Yeah, totally. So that is Carrie from Sunsinger. This is Alonna from 570 Press. Make sure you check out Sunsinger anywhere you can find music, and check out Ace of Cups Part 1 because I love it and I can't wait for Part 2.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. So excited to talk to you today. It's been a blast.
Of course. And thank you so much for coming on. This was great.